Thank you for tuning in to Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracy. The following content may involve explicit language and materials, so listener discretion is advised. Welcome back, everybody. I am super excited because I've been trying to get our guest on. And if you guys can hear the crap in the background, I'm so sorry. It's our government money at work. I found you because I would get my equipment from your site when I would do my investigations. And actually, my parapuppy back here that's hanging out was greatly influenced by something that you created. So we have Bob here from Ghost Stomp. I'm so excited. I actually got to meet him in person at Paracon at Pinhurst. So
Yes.
it was a blast. You're way buffer in person than I would have imagined. I'm just going to throw that out there. You are not who I was expecting to see whenever I showed up. Needless to say, I had to circle the booth twice to be like, wait a minute, is this the guy? But it is. So I just want to give you a chance here at the beginning. Just introduce yourself, explain what you do, and then we can just get more into it.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I met you at Penhurst Paracon, which was phenomenal Paracon. They had like at least 4,000 people came through there over that weekend.
I officially have a goal. I want to be a vendor there someday.
Oh, you got to hit them up right away because
I know.
I think we're coming back. I started in the paranormal like almost 30 years ago, and I started a little different than most people.
And I'm just laughing. You're like, almost 30 years ago, and I'm going, I just turned 34.
Yes, I know. I'm old. A lot of people say I don't look my age, but yeah.
Definitely not, because my brain just took a second to, it was going. And I'm like, wait, really?
Yeah, I don't mind. I'll be turning 54 in February, so.
Really?
Yes, we talked about this at Penn. But yeah, a lot of people I met in the paranormal community over the years, everyone has their thing. Like someone had their abilities started, or they had ghost experiences, lived in a haunted house. And that mine was, when I was a kid, I was always interested in all the weird stuff, the sci-fi stuff, horror movies, Godzilla movies, stuff like that. And then when I got older, got married, and that my first daughter, Morgan, she passed away of heart disease. She lived for 6 days. She had Epstein's anomaly, it was called. And after she passed, the first couple of years, I'll admit, I was like angry with the world. I was just not a nice person.
I get it.
Then, I don't know, I started, after a couple of years passed, I started wanting to know answers if we could communicate with the other side, if she could talk to me. So I started doing my own thing in the paranormal, because back then there weren't groups everywhere. Ghost Hunters wasn't on TV yet. And then I was doing my own thing, and then Ghost Hunters came on TV. I was living in Florida, and I got together with a team called Florida Ghost Team. And at the time, they were actually having a lot of team members go on, Ghost Hunters International.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that show. Rob Demers came off our team and a few other people. So I've been doing the paranormal since then, just looking for answers. And I know if you've investigated before, people that first start, once you get that first experience, you'll almost become like obsessed, like you want more.
Yes. And I feel on one hand you want more, but I feel like it's also that it's almost like a drug. It's almost like you keep chasing for more experiences to validate the original one that you had, to make sure that you're not crazy.
Yes.
That I feel like I do that all the time. I'm like, weird stuff happens to me that I can't explain all the time. And it makes me feel like I'm nuts. But it's okay. Am I really crazy if this happens consistently all the time? And then you constantly want to get that evidence. But unfortunately, because of all these shows that came out, now I'm going to tell you, I'm like spook queen here. Right? I need to get me a nice little crown for the princess. And I will not watch paranormal shows on TV because I do not believe anything I see on TV. I feel like it's all bullshit. Unless I am there, I can't believe it.
I always tell people, because people always ask us, because we supply a lot of the TV shows with ghost stop equipment. And I always tell people, you got to remember, a lot of the shows are entertainment. I can tell you, talking, because we're good friends with Jason and them with Ghost Hunters and that, and a couple of the other shows, and talking with them, no one's faking anything, but there things that I know about. I'm investigating, and you're watching TV, and something happens, and they go to commercial, and you're like, I go, I already know what it's going to be. It's just going to be something
Yeah.
not paranormal, but they had to make it dramatized.
Mhm.
And I understand that, but like I always tell people, it's entertainment. But the one thing I can say about all the shows that help, as an investigator, back in the day, when you went to ask permission to get into a location or something, oh my God, it was like, it was very hard. I
Yeah.
had one time, I went to this theater and I'm standing there and the guy's, oh man, yeah, we'd love you guys to get in here and investigate. I'm like, cool. He was, let me talk to my manager. So he's talking to his manager and doesn't realize the hallway they're in, it's echoing to me. Now, mind you, I was dressed nice. I had my tattoos covered up. I had a button shirt.
Oh, oh, wow.
Because I thought I got it professional.
Did you have
Can't
a
wear
tie?
my,
I
can't wear
love me
my-
a guy in a tie.
yeah.
Just saying.
So I was looking professional and I hear the lady tell him, I don't deal with people like him. I'm like, people like me. What the?
People like you.
I could see if I showed up in my AC/DC shirt with all my tattoos showing,
Yeah, they're
to
like,
be like, yeah. But that's the thing you had to deal with. Now, a lot of locations, they want people to come in like me or you to come in
Mhm.
and try and validate, like you were talking earlier about feeling crazy sometimes. Talk with some of these people who are like, I swear I'm working and I keep hearing someone walking. There's nobody else in the building. Hmm?
work.
See?
There's a bunch of stuff that happens at my work. And I'm the one who's been there the longest, but not by much. But we're all pretty much convinced that we're not sure if it's the building or if it's because it's only when I'm there. So they are like, you need to leave your ghosts at home. Stop
Uh,
bringing them to work. It's not bring your ghost to work day. But I've had both the people that I work with have witnessed, seen it with their own eyes, the
oh, that's
shit that
awesome.
happens. And
It
freak
validates you now.
yeah. And what's funny is they freak out because they're not used to it, right? But it
Yeah.
happens to me all the time. One we had in particular was a guy was working in front of me and he was just talking or whatever. And he was looking past me, but so my back was turned. And all of a sudden, he looks up like over my shoulder and just ghost white. I mean, his face, and he is not a sensitive guy. He is like badass. So when I saw the look on his face, for a second, I panicked because I was like, what is making that face on it? What is doing this?
Yeah.
And then I could feel that there was something back there. So then I was like,
Okay.
oh, okay, there's somebody there. But to me, it was just another person just hanging out. But he straight up looked it like dead at it. It was like apparition behind me. So in my manager's office where the door was, he was like, there's someone in there. He goes, I know that it's impossible, but there was a man. And I just sat there for a second. I'm like, let me guess, probably what, like 5'8", 5'10", kind of balding, glasses, older guy. He's like, how the did you know that? I was like, I could just feel that he's here. I don't know. I was like, I've not seen him. I said, but that's what I'm seeing in here. Have weird stuff. And I guess what it was is it had peeked out from behind a door. Like it was like hunched down and peeked out. And I guess it was looking at me, like watching me. And then when he looked up, I guess it looked and realized that he saw it. And it hurried up and went back, ducked back behind the
I
door
was like, oh shit.
and was like, oh, my bad. So apparently I have a peeping Tom. But what's weird is when it went behind the door, when I say it was peeking from behind it, the door was all the way open and against a wall. There was
Oh,
no whole room. There was maybe an
yeah.
inch. And it was a full ass person peeking out and going back. And he was like, what the I was like, it's okay. Hi, how's it going?
I'd be more PO'd that he got to see it when I'm the person that goes to investigate. The dude that doesn't really believe in it was like, saw it. Like the ghost is messing with you, right?
I wouldn't say that he doesn't believe in it. It's just he wasn't expecting it. I don't
Yeah.
think. And because I've talked to him about weird stuff that happens. Another one was my boss was in his office and I was sitting like across the room and I sell cars. Every dealership pretty much has the same get up. It's like glass windows all over. You're a fishbowl.
Yeah.
So you can see everything. You fucking know if there's a person outside. And I was typing on my laptop, just below, not paying attention. And we work in a very old building and we have an old like brass doorknob from like the
Oh, that's
50s.
cool.
And it's so weird because one door is a push door. You just push it to walk in. Super easy. But no, the door in front of me, I heard the doorknob like jiggle and then I
Mm.
heard it click. And so I looked up expecting a customer and there's nothing. Not only did it click, it starts to open to the
Someone left.
outside. And I'm just looking at it like, huh. My boss, because we also have a bell that dings when somebody walks in.
Yeah.
And so it chimed, but I didn't say anything. So my boss stood up and went, "Why are you?" And then he stopped because he saw that the door was opening. I was just staring, and he watched the door just open on its own. And he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna pretend that didn't just happen."
Do they like?
And
Have you ever asked to investigate the place like after hours?
so I haven't. I don't know if they would let me. The other thing too is now sometimes I do like a bunch of weird stuff happens to me while I'm there. I've had a whole ass table like vibrate, like shake, not a little, but I'm talking like rocking back and forth.
Really?
And it seems like it's only when I'm around. I also nobody else has had any issues, but when I went in the kitchen, I went in to grab lunch, and then the same guy that saw the person walked in behind me to grab a water out of the fridge and asked me a question. And as I was answering him, we have all those fluorescent ceiling lights,
Yeah.
and there's probably 8 in this kitchen. And the one that was above me goes out, comes back on, flickers, goes out. And he's like, "What the hell is happening?" I was like, "Oh, it's okay. It's fine." I was like, "We just have it. There's somebody in here with us. It's fine." That is not fine.
Uh, It's not fine.
Yeah. And well, and all those footsteps like you were talking about, I didn't hear them, which
Yeah.
I thought was interesting because he heard them. Same guy. So apparently it's something is trying to get his attention.
Could be.
Maybe. I don't know, but it's always about me, but he sees it. It's really weird.
It could
But
be. You could be bringing something like spirit with you. I call them hitchhikers.
oh yeah, they
You
can
got a
go everywhere.
hitchhiker with.
When I was trying to figure it out too, and what's weird is when he hears the footsteps, they're always walking towards me. Always. They're always
Yeah.
coming from some direction towards my desk to where he's gotten up multiple times to open the door to the room behind me because he swears there's a person in there, but there's nobody in there and the door's locked.
If it is a spirit, the location, maybe it's a worker or a customer from back in the day. We're trying to get your attention. You want a car or some paperwork.
Yeah, every now and then I call it the willies. It's when I know there's something around, they give me the willies. And there's been a couple times I've opened my phone. I know a lot of people like Posh Ghost Tube or whatever, but I have a lot of issues with my ears. So my ears have never worked right. I was born with problems and then they kept trying to fix
Okay.
them and just did more damage. So if I listen to the typical static spirit box, I can't even understand if somebody's talking and the TV's on because my ears can't differentiate sound.
Yeah.
So I use Ghost Tube because it gives me a word that I can read. And actually, I get sentences sometimes.
What is that? Is that the app on the phone?
Yeah.
Is that the one with the skull in it?
No, it's a little picture of a little ghost. Hold on. I'll get it for you. I usually have it on while I'm recording because things like to talk to me while I'm doing this.
Because I know the last few investigations I've done, people have had an app. It's almost like the Envoy.
That one.
Or
Now I have Necrophonic too.
Or- maybe that's what it is. It's
Here, hold on.
similar to not the Envoy, the Obelisk.
Oh, there we know. You can see it. So this is the one
Yeah.
I use
Okay.
because when I click on, give me the words down here. So I
Yeah.
can actually read it because if it says it, I can't. I've even tried at one of the investigations I did. We tried what is it, the Estes method or whatever?
Yes.
I feel like I can never
I
pronounce it.
pronounce it wrong. I call it Etsy, like the Etsy website.
Oh, yeah. The Etsy method. Got a little granny. I actually have a grandma that hangs out with me. Her name's Gertrude.
Yeah.
So she's a regular around here. But It's just I turn the box on sometimes, and I'll have things at work just firing at me. I got in a
Yeah.
car the other day to move it across the lot, and an alarm. Nobody else. I even asked. I said, "Does anybody else get this? Have you ever gotten this notification in this car?" And they're like, "No. What are you talking about? I didn't even know it did that." Every time I get in this car to move it, a little box shows up and it dings. It's like, ding, and it says check back for passenger. There's something in the back seat that it's picking
Oh,
up.
that's funny.
Don't forget your kid in the car. And I turn around, I'm like, it's just me. So I
Like,
get ghosts that hang out with me in the car. So
man, I have to tell Sean we should make like a sensor or something like
you
that in a
should.
car. Set it like a little cushion thing you set down place where there have been reports of spirits like on beds and that. It'd be
Yeah,
cool.
I'm thinking like, okay, oh my God, I can't believe I'm making this reference. When you move the thing and you got to put something of the same weight on top of it
Yeah, like
before it.
Indiana Jones.
That's what I'm thinking. Just get like a plate maybe, but
Yeah.
they've got to weigh something, right?
Yeah, they can put pressure. That's funny you saying that in a car where it says my car has done that at times where the seatbelt thing will go off because it's saying I have a passenger.
Yeah.
And then they didn't hook their seatbelt. And I'm like, there's no one with me. Yeah. But sometimes that's where some people understand this. We're joking about it because I understand electronics and that can go wonky in that. I'm not saying it goes, but you never know. But thinking about this, I'll have to talk to Sean. Just so you know, too, we were talking earlier. My buddy Sean Porter is actually, he's the owner and creator of Ghost. You met him yeah.
We can
Sean
fix
is,
together.
yes, Sean is the brainchild. He is very highly intelligent. He's an awesome guy, the nicest person you can meet. I'm the customer support and testing the prototypes and everything with him because,
Okay, okay, okay.
yeah, because we've investigated, we met in like 2008 on that Florida Ghost team.
Yeah.
And we became friends. And Sean's, I think he's having his 17-year anniversary for Ghost Town. 17
Holy
years.
crap.
It's crazy.
I've loved your guys' stuff. When I first started, I looked around. I was like, you know what? I don't know. And I felt like when I found your guys' site, it was stuff that I could use and feel comfortable with. You could do it with any level, right? It's very
Okay.
user friendly. It's easy to
Yeah.
dip your toes in the water and try this and try that and try different things and stuff. So that's what I really liked about it was just one, it didn't make me feel stupid.
I can understand that because I felt that way when I was first at it too. When people would bring equipment out and they'd be telling me stuff, and I'd be like, what's it do? And I don't want to act like I don't know it completely because you don't want, like you said, you don't want to feel stupid.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's very adamant about that because he knows everybody comes in at different levels. Not everybody knows because, like, I've been investigating for almost 30 years. I still talk with people. Like, if you were with me and you had a question, I always tell people, ask the question.
Oh, yeah.
Have
He's
no
not
problem.
kidding. I think I literally played like 100 questions with you when
I
I met
know.
you. I was like, what about this? What about this? What about this? And I had tons of questions, which I do try to get on every now and then. Right now, it's difficult for me. I'm a one man band. I work 3 jobs and I can barely get the bills paid. I do have a wish list of things that I want to get to use. So I get on there every now and then just to see what's new, right?
Yes.
And I'm trying to remember one thing that I have seen people use,
The dead bell.
the music box. Do you guys have a
No,
version of that?
No, we don't have the music box. We talked about this. We have this. It's called the dead bell.
And you can
And
subscribe to my Patreon so you can see the video.
what's cool about this is the dead bell. It picks up, it detects EMF, but it's a natural
Oh.
EMF. If I don't have a charge right now, but if I put a magnet towards it, it would make it go ding. It would make it go ding.
Oh, okay.
So Sean and Ghost Stop are trying to get away from trying to be more of a natural EMF it's detecting. So then, like cell phones, you can leave your cell phone on. You don't have to put it on airplane mode. It won't,
Yeah.
it won't pick up all those other wavelengths like some of the older equipment. This is how I explain it to people. I don't want to say the equipment like K2s and that don't work, but the older equipment back in the day, the information was taken in, the cone was like this wide, taking everything
Yeah.
in. What Sean's trying to develop, he's making the cone like this, so it's more directed at what we're actually supposed to be trying to detect. Some people like because they'll say, "Oh, your equipment's not working." The K2 or something older was going off all night, and I usually have
Well,
to be
because it
nice,
wasn't being
like,
accurate.
yeah, they had not all been paranormal. It could have just been something natural setting it off.
Hmm.
You know what I
But the
mean?
one thing I will say, I'm gonna critique you on the air. Okay, this is just a
Okay.
little constructive criticism from somebody. Like I said, even though it was easy for me to use and figure out, I feel like it would have been even better if there was a little bit either visual directions or maybe if each
A
item had like
a
a
video?
QR code that led you to a video instead of having to go try to find it.
Yes.
If it came like with it, that'd be
Yeah,
cool.
Sean's actually when I was in Virginia last year, because they had moved from Florida up to Virginia, they built not built, they bought a six-story historic building in
Ooh.
downtown Lynchburg, Virginia.
Ooh.
It's awesome. I got to investigate it like 3 or 4 times, testing equipment and that, and there's weird stuff going on there. But needless to say, Sean and I were talking about, because you're not the first person to say this, helpful videos.
Yeah.
Like you said, you can
It's not I'm
scan it
like,
and boom, go
am
right
I
to it.
using this right?
Yeah. Even just to show you how to put the power on. And it's funny too that you say this. My own thing that I do, paranormal wavelengths, that I
Yeah.
started back in 2009.
I stalk you on that too.
I'm bringing that back. I
Yeah.
actually, big news,
Ooh.
friends of mine they're starting a network, a streaming network where I think it's like $4 a month you pay. It's called Dark Realms TV. And
I
I'm going to
actually
be, do you ever heard of it?
that actually sounds really familiar to me, and I'm not sure why.
But you probably know the people because my friends and I are in Ohio.
Wait, I
In,
think do
in
they have a group on Facebook?
yes,
I think I'm part of their group on Facebook.
that's probably why I've been friends with those guys. And my wife was there at an event with them, and she's really friend. She's who I met them through, and she was talking to them, and then she told me, she's like, "You why don't you bring paranormal wavelengths back?" And I was like, "I've been thinking of it, but like you said, sometimes you don't have enough time, and you're
Mhm.
working, and the money." And I thought, you know what? They're doing this. So I talked to them. So yeah, definitely we'd like you. So I'm going to start putting up, I said on my YouTube, it's going to be on there now because I still got a bunch of videos. Some of my videos on there are going to be how to use equipment. I show you how to turn it on,
Yeah.
how it works. And then I show some footage from when I investigated when the evidence.
I want so when you do those, you should try to find things that you know will trick it so that
Yes.
people don't accidentally trick it.
Yeah, I think I did. I can't remember for the dead bell. I think I had a magnet in my video.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
couldn't buy it
That's what I was
because,
like.
yeah, because I want to let people
Oh my
know,
gosh, it's asking what that is.
yeah, to be careful. The what?
I have my thing running here. When you held the bell up, it says, "What is that?"
Um, I'm telling you what, this dead bell, when one of the tech guys was bringing out the prototype, he showed me it, and I'm like, "What is this?" And he told me, and my first idea thing was like, it's so simple
Yeah.
idea, but it's cool because people don't realize when you're investigating, some of these spirits could be hundreds of years old. They might not
Mhm.
understand the other equipment, but if you can tell them, "Hey, come near the bell," and they realize they can ring it.
Yes.
Oh my God, I find such crazy evidence. One of my videos I'm gonna put up, I actually finally got, I've been investigating forever. You always ask the spirit, "Hey, can you finish this?" And you go, and you wait to hear the knocks.
Oh, I've
I
never
got,
tried that.
I did it. Oh, you never tried it? Yeah, it's an old thing. People used to do it to see if a spirit would knock.
Oh, yeah.
I did this at a location. I had the bell and I go, "Can you finish it by ringing the bell?" And I knocked like that. And then the bell went ding, ding.
Oh, hell no.
I was like,
That's dope.
I was so excited because
It's especially when you get a new piece of equipment, it's gotta be even more so for you. Because I know with me as an investigator, when I get a new piece of equipment, so my cat balls, I didn't use it for a long time. To be fair, most of the time, I didn't use it because I just knew they were here. I just know. But I was like, "Oh, you guys don't know what I can see or what I can feel or whatever." And I went on an investigation where they used the cat balls. So I was like, "You know what? I know that there's stuff here with me all the time. I have permanent residents that just hang with me. They're just always here."
yeah.
And just as I understand.
Oh, that's
And
funny.
yeah, they're actually so what's interesting to me is I know a lot of people don't like the ghost tube thing, but I think what's funny is I think it works really well for me because they know that I can't understand unless they use it. So I feel like now if I take it somewhere else, things sometimes get a little cattywampus. But I think here, because my studio, I come out here and I do spirit box sessions all the time. I turn my sensors on, I do this. But when I first got the cat ball set out, I would tell them, feel free to hit the balls. It's fine. Let us know you're
Yeah.
here. And we would have a rule. If I asked a question and you lit the ball up, that was yes. If it didn't light up, that's no. It says follow you. Yes, I know you follow me. But
Funny.
they're all over this. But oh, I think it's my kid. Okay. Sorry. I got son on that one. So, oh, man, I told you as soon as I brought it up, now it's going freaking bananas.
Yeah, now you mention it, that's
Yeah.
funny.
But I would say if you don't light up the ball, that's not an automatic no. You've got to at least let us know that you're here first
Yeah.
before but I've been in the middle of an episode and something's going crazy and we have stopped what we were doing and had like 5 or 10 minute yes, no conversation with things. But it was really upsetting to me at first because I was like, oh, can you light up the balls? Whatever, trying to get them to it took about 2 weeks. I
Really?
never moved them. I would turn them on, explain the situation, tell them how
Yeah.
to use them. But after about a week and a half, 2 weeks, one went and then another one went. And it's like they were testing it and now they just use them. I think they had to get used to it. And that's hard to do when you're investigating a place that you go, say you're only there one time ever in your life.
Yeah.
And if nobody else is using the same type of stuff, then they might not respond. I got
Yes.
absolutely okay.
That's funny that you say that, 'cause when I used to talk with customers and that, they'd be like, "I went to this location and we didn't get nothing." And I said, "It's a trial and our whole field is theories, trial and error, testing, and some locations, some of my equipment." Okay, here's an example. A month ago, I was up in Canada investigating, and it was a big fundraiser. We had
Okay.
7 locations to investigate,
Well,
and
that's cool.
I had my group, and what they did is we moved our groups from location to location. You'd walk. I went in this old train station. We had the dead bell, and then hold on, I'll grab one more thing for you. We had this. The candles work like the dead bell, same sensor in there. Something has to come near it, and right now it's lit. If something comes near it, it'll turn it off.
Oh, that's cool. So
To get it to go back on, it has to come near it again to set it off. We had the bell and the candle at the same time at this old railroad station, and the bell did nothing for my group. Didn't go off once, but the candles were going on cue when the person was asking. There was 2 of them in there. They were asking, "Only light the candles to my left." The candles on the left would light. I'm like, "This is weird." It was on cue. But then I talked with the other groups at the end of the night, and they were telling me the candles didn't do that, but the bell was going off left and right for them.
huh.
So that's why I try and explain to everybody. The biggest thing I tell people, there's no wrong way to investigate. Everybody has their own methods, their own
Yep.
equipment. The biggest thing is just be aware of what could be causing false evidence when you're there, and just keep an eye if you got a team of people for safety. Other than that,
Yeah.
I tell people bring out whatever you want. I've been joking with Sean at an event that we're investigating, like we're guest investigators. I want to bring a magic 8 ball. Just pull it out. Anybody here? And
I have a magic 8 ball right there.
oh, that's funny.
And
But I just want to do it.
I had, when I was doing one of my spirit box sessions, when I first brought the 8 ball out,
Yeah.
I think sometimes you pick up 2 sides of a conversation that you're not a part of.
Yeah.
Also, it's not like they're just talking to you. Like sometimes it sounds like they're talking to each other. And one was asked, he's like, what's that? And then I heard ball 8. And I was like, no.
Oh, that's awesome.
Anything. I just turned around and I was like, yep, that's an 8 ball.
That's funny. The
Like,
magic 8 ball.
yep.
'Cause I want to see what people would do if I pulled that out and shook it. And goes, anybody here? What's it say? Try again later or
Yeah,
something?
try again later. Yeah,
I
yes,
like-
no, maybe.
I told Sean,
This-
we'll make, instead of a magic 8 ball, making the
Gertrude.
paranormal wave or ghost stop 8 ball.
Yeah,
Oh,
me-
God.
Yeah, Gertrude's at least is saying her name, so I'm guessing she's here. Hi, Gertrude.
I wanted to say when you were talking about it, the locate where you work and that something follows you or it seems like it comes towards you, everyone's sensitive in certain ways. We're just
Oh,
at
yeah.
different levels. Like me, I can't hear stuff. My one friend in Wisconsin, his name's Scotty Rourke, some awesome person and a psychic medium. He always tells me, dude, your psychic or your spirit guides, they hate you because you don't ever listen they know you can hear them, but you totally ignore what they're telling you.
Yeah.
But like my wife, she can do readings. I take her to locations where I've controlled the kind of experiment. I know
Mhm.
people say, "Oh, it's your wife," but she will be the first one to tell you I can be a douchebag. I don't give them all the information. The only thing I do tell her, if we're going to a location and someone's been scratched or hurt
Yeah.
or something,
Yeah, you gotta
I'll
be
tell her,
aware of
"Hey,"
that.
I'll tell her, "Hey, make sure you protect yourself more because there has been some
Mhm.
negative energy there." And she'll, okay. But I've been in locations where I know the history and I know what's happened there for other teams. And I'll do I call it a psychic sweep. I'll walk around filming her. She's just doing her thing.
Yeah.
And this is years ago. We were at this jail and courthouse. We're walking around. All of a sudden she goes, "Michael." And I'm like, "What's up with Michael?" She goes, this guy's in here keeps saying his name, Michael.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And then later in an investigation, she's like, there's a little girl out on the property with a lady. She won't come in the courthouse and he won't leave the courthouse. I go, "Are they connected?" She goes, "I don't know. Something's up, but I haven't got the whole story." So we're investigating later. All of a sudden, we're not even asking anything about this anymore. All of a sudden, I go, "What?" They told me what happened. The little girl just whispered, and then the woman, I'm like, "What?" She said, "That gentleman molested her and
Oh,
was arrested and convicted at this court." I'm like, "What?" So me, as an investigator, I ran over to the jail because they had a huge book, 18 pages of archives. So I went through with the lady. We found one Michael in all 18 pages. He was arrested in the 60s for lewd and lascivious act against a minor. It's not okay. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't awesome what he did.
yes. That's
It confirmed
evidence.
what,
There you go.
yeah. Yeah. So it was just awesome that I know for a fact that she had no clue where we were even going, any information of what was going on there. And the other thing I've seen her do is I've seen her do readings for people at our house, and she doesn't ask questions. She just starts. She said someone's whispered in her ear, so she starts saying what they're telling her.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I see people start crying.
Mhm.
She'll say something and be like, "How did you know that?" And she'll, "What are you talking
Yep.
about?" She goes, that was my grandmother's nickname for me. And nobody knows except me." And so, "Well, that's your grandmother." And it's stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I was very leery about psychic mediums back in the day because I highly doubt she's even in this field. I'm a neighbor, but in this field. But I befriended her, my first wife and I, who lost my daughter Morgan. We
Mhm.
befriended her, and next thing she had all this information about my daughter.
Mhm.
And she, blah, blah. Next thing I know, we're helping pay her bills. I'm picking all her kids up, at
Yeah.
school, my
Yeah.
kids, and
And
it
that's why
seemed
I
like a
don't like it.
scam. Yeah,
Well, it's like
so it seemed
people
like a
ask
scam.
me because they're like, "Oh, are you psychic?" And I'm like, "I don't like that word." I'm like, "I can tell you what I can do, and then you can put whatever label you want on me, but I do not advertise. I don't do shit for people. Like, if something
Yeah.
happens, I'll tell you, but I'm not gonna go out looking just for that. I'm not gonna try to contact your great aunt Susie. I don't do that. I just know there's
Yeah.
some weird stuff out there
In
that,
this sense of you feel I believe in energy.
oh,
Like
yeah. Oh, I
like,
do.
um, like I get like when I meet people, like when I
Mhm.
met you, I talk to you like I known you forever, but
Yeah.
that's how I am with people. But we're in an event, my wife and I were at an event and she saw it for the first time. Some guy come up to talk to me and I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" I talked to him quick. I'm like, "All right, we got to go on. What what's up with him?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah,
You
bad.
you always open up and talk to people. I go, "It's nothing that he was bad. It's just something about his energy.
Mhm.
I didn't feel I should open to him and like open myself like I always do talking to people."
Yeah.
I go, "It's not that he's a bad or these people are bad. It's just their energy did not mix with mine. I can feel
Yes.
it." So
Preach it.
yeah. So it's just a weird thing. I believe that I was told long, like decades ago, that I'm a high energy person. Yeah. So and my wife usually has a battery sometimes, the energizer.
Yes.
And I was told if I learn to push my energy, I could push negative things out of locations. Oh, that's awesome.
So, funny story. I've probably talked about it on the pod before, but I can't remember if I gave details or anything. So, I have a degree in therapeutic and clinical massage therapy.
Okay.
I don't use it. I hate it. By the time I realized what the problem was going to be, it was too late. I had to finish.
Yeah.
It says impressed. But I couldn't figure it out for the longest time. And believe it or not, I didn't even realize I thought everybody did what I did. I thought it was a problem for everybody and it was just normal until my professor, who's really big into Reiki and energy and
Yeah.
all of that, she, okay, that was not on there. That was straight up in my headphones. I don't know what
Oh,
that was.
really?
I couldn't understand it, but it sounded like a woman. Okay, anyway, but she went to show the class something and work on me. And the moment she put her hands on my feet to ground herself, she just stopped everything. And she put another person on a table next to me. She had every person in the class try to ground to me and then ground to her
Uh,
and say anything until everybody got through. And then, oh no, it's the creeper. Sorry, I
no
got a
creepers.
creeper and he's weird. But anyway, when everybody went through, she was like, "Did you notice anything?" And every single person was like, "Why is she weird?" So apparently I'm weird. Per the norm, right? Surprise. Haha. But she was like, "Well, what do you mean?" And every single person was like, "Something." It was almost like when they touched me, it was almost like there was some kind of like current, like electricity
Yeah.
that they could feel coming off of me.
Yes.
And I wasn't even trying to do anything. I was just laying there. But after she found that out, she started asking me questions. And again, that's when she's like, "Oh, hey, when you work on somebody, have have you ever noticed that whatever hurts on them hurts on you when they leave and they feel good?" And I'm like, "Actually, yes, all the time. Why?" So she goes, "I've only heard about people like you." I don't even remember what she called me, but I've just heard of them. I've never actually seen one. So this is cool. She thought I was like the coolest thing ever because she's never been able to do it. But she ended up having to get me like she got me like like a big stone, like huge stone thing.
Okay.
And she was like, "After you work on anyone, you have to ground to the stone and she's like, "Just breathe and focus and push it." It's going to sound weird. She goes, "But trust me," she goes, "when you do it, you'll understand what I'm talking about and it'll help." And it actually did.
Yeah.
It's just something like even people, like I've had people that I've worked with they start having a panic attack. And I'm like, hold on. I was like, I know this is weird. I can just touch their arm. I don't even have to do anything weird. I just need to, my skin has to touch your skin, is all I
Yeah.
need. And I'm like, just take a deep breath. And I call it siphoning because I don't know what else to call it. But I do. I breathe it in and then I let it like cycle. And then I breathe out and I push mine to them and it calms people down or whatever the problem is. It seems to help. It's just that I then carry it. If I don't get rid of it by some kind of apparently giant rock, it lasts 2 or 3 hours and then it goes away on its own.
Yeah. It's funny you say this because I keep saying my wife, her name's Tina. Tina does Reiki.
Hi, Tina.
I've never had Reiki done. I've never had Reiki done to me. And I had a lot going on. She was, let me just do something. She was telling me what she was doing. I was like, fine. And I
Yeah,
could feel
whatever.
it almost feels like she was almost touching me.
Yeah, but she
And
wasn't.
no, and it was weird when she got done. It all of a sudden I felt really light, but then she was coughing and sick
Yep.
and she has to get rid of it. And I don't know
Yep.
if she had because she's in the crystals and the
Mhm.
stones. She did something. 'Cause I'm weird. I was upset because I don't like people taking on
I
my
just said my
therapy.
name.
It did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. The thing is, it's almost like you're doing Reiki, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And I was never really bring it, but when she did that, I felt light and I was like, it was weird
It
feeling.
is a very weird feeling. And I don't ever know what it feels like to be on the other end because I don't even know if people like us can do that. You know what I mean? Can you ever feel what the other side's feeling if you can do it? See what I'm saying?
I don't know.
See
I
that?
didn't know at a location, it's where we go a lot, and she's friends with the spirits. Like it's a
Yeah.
mother and kids in this location, talks to them like people are actually there.
I did.
And yeah, and she's, hey, and something had attached to her and followed her there because the night before we were at this old jail in, I think it was either Michigan or Ohio the night before. And it was something
I did one in Ohio.
I can't remember where it was, but this is like 2018 or 19. But whatever it was followed us there. And Tina wasn't happy. She was like, and she actually had to go outside the house because she was starting to feel sick, and she felt bad because the because the mom spirit was upset. So for some
Yes.
reason, I decided I was in the house by myself. I started visualizing white light, and I'm not very some of my friends are religious, and they'll
Mhm.
call Archangel Michael to their side, and that I actually call my daughter Morgan to my side to help protect me and push. So
Yeah.
all I did was picture this white light, and I don't know what I was doing. All I know is when I got done, I didn't know if I did anything. I come outside to check on Tina, and she's, "What did you do?" I'm like, "What do you mean, what did I could hear Miss Park, that was her name, the spirit,
Miss
yelling,
Park?
"Get out!" Because I was saying get out, like she was yelling with me. And she goes,
Yeah.
"Whatever you did, the whole atmosphere of the house is different." And I go, I don't know." And all of a sudden, for some odd reason, I gave her Tina a hug, and I started crying. And she's, "Oh my God, I think I took on all the emotion somehow,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
didn't know how to get rid of it." And then we got home that night. We actually left after because I didn't feel good. I was tired.
Yeah, it will. Mhm.
Yeah. And I get home and my body's always like an oven. She always puts her cold feet and body on me because I'm like an oven. We get
Yep.
home, I'm sitting on the edge of bed and we're sitting there. She's like, "What's wrong?" I go, I feel like I have no energy." And she touched me like, "Oh my God." I'm like, "What?" She goes, "You're like ice cold." So she thinks I pushed all my energy out of me
Yeah.
that to do this. I don't know how I did it. So if anyone's watching this, I've only done it once because it got in my head. I felt bad that this mom spirit and her kids, this guy was tormenting them. And I didn't want him bothering,
Yeah.
plus I didn't want him bothering Tina either. So I thought, you know what? I'm gonna try and
I'm
push
just
through
gonna
it.
do it. Yeah.
So
And it takes some getting used to. Like, there's things in here, if something like generally, so I have it blocked off and I have, which is actually funny because I don't make a lot of the names for these things. The spirits actually refer to them as, and that's, I just call it whatever they call it. But I
yeah,
have a divider and I close it whenever I record or whenever I'm doing anything in here. And they know that for the longest time, I'm like, you can't come in here if you're negative. Oh, this is a safe zone. And that's the only stuff that you're allowed to do. If you want to communicate, fine. I said, but if you're up to no good, you can't go. Then they started referring to it as the gate, which is
uh,
funny because it's collapsible. So I literally have to open it and then I draw a curtain over it. So I
yeah,
create a gate and that's just how they refer to it. But sometimes things come in and it is, if, especially if it's one that's just heavy and it's really difficult, then it just wears you out. You just get so tired.
yeah. It's like something's draining your energy.
Yep.
But it's funny what you're doing. I always tell people that, like when I used to do a lot of residential houses back in the day, and I used to tell people, you're not provoking, but you need to take like you were setting boundaries.
Yep.
It's almost like you're talking to a kid. You got to set
And some of them
boundaries.
are kids. So yeah,
Yeah. And you got to be stern.
I do.
Not yelling, "Get the f out," and get all crazy, because then shit'll happen, because then
Yeah.
you pissed them off. But if you're stern and tell them, "Hey, this is it. You can be here, but not in this area." Most times it does work.
Yeah.
Be careful.
I do have to ask though, since you do get to test all of these things, what would you say your all time favorite piece of equipment is and why? Thank you for listening to this episode of Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracy. If you wouldn't mind, please take a moment and give the show a 5-star review wherever you're listening. I know it might not seem like much, but it greatly helps the show and allows people to find us more easily. Also, head on over to www.patreon.com/cryptids, creeps, and conspiracy and subscribe to any of the tiers. Members of the Big Show tier get bonus materials, personalized shoutouts on the pod, ad-free episodes, access to the private Discord server, quarterly appreciation gifts, and a chance to be on the show. Not to mention video versions of the episode. Before you go, don't forget to click the link in the description and grab yourself or someone you know some self-designed merch by me, or make a donation to help keep the show going and fund future events and investigations. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Threads, and TikTok. If you have any questions, topic recommendations, or personal encounters, please send them to cryptidscreepsandconspiracy@gmail.com or submit them through the contact form at www.patreon.com/cryptidscreepsandconspiracy. podcast.cryptidscreepsandconspiracy.com. I would love to hear from you and share your experiences on a listener episode. Just make sure that you specify that I have permission to add your encounter to the show and let me know whether or not you would like your real name read or an alias to maintain confidentiality. Thank you guys all again so much for your support. Until next time, my friends. See ya.